Once every 2 years, the sleepy skies of Gloucestershire echo to 2 days of thunder as RAF Fairford becomes temporary headquarters of what adds up to the world's 5th largest air force. Good afternoon. You join us live here at Fairford on really a quite delightful Sunday afternoon. This is a fantastic site. It's the world's largest military show this year, over 400 aircraft from 20 nations. And I have to say the weekend has got mixed emotions. There is, of course, sorrow for the lives that were lost in the Gulf conflict earlier this year, and concern that that particular job is not dealt with yet. And also, there's a bit of a question mark over the aircraft behind me. It's not going anywhere until I've transferred microphones, put the special headset on, so that I can talk to the captain, Paul Milichik. Now, Paul, is there really a question mark over the future of the Vulcan?
Well, there's always been a question mark over the future of the Vulcan. We hope to keep the aircraft flying for at least one more season after this one. That's yet to be decided. But after that, we need to spend a large amount of money on a major servicing, so we're really beginning to look for sponsorship from a large, wealthy company. Perhaps the BBC could help us out on that one.
To be able to help you. How old is the aircraft that you're about to display?
We celebrated its 30th anniversary last year, so it's 31 years old now, and it was the very first B Mark II Vulcan into service with the Royal Air Force. Now, of course, now it's the last.
Does this mean that you tend to treat her a little bit gently?
Yes, we look after her as much as possible, because we still have to display her, and to that end we keep the speed down in the display to display the aircraft as slow and as close to the cloud as possible. It's a very large aircraft, but we can keep the display within the confines of the airfield boundary, which is one of the reasons it makes it so attractive.
Paul, thank you very much for making it possible for us to delay the show for that little chat. We'd now like to follow your takeoff checks.
Okay, and everything clear for takeoff, eh? Okay, and standby for takeoff, going through to 80% on the brakes. Okay, fast power, 60, 70. 80% approach. Okay, and the brakes are holding, going through to full power now, the nose dips slightly. Releasing the brakes, a surge of power as the aircraft starts to accelerate rapidly down the runway. Forward pressure on the control column. I'm steering with my rudders.
80.
Moving my hand up the control column now, keeping the forward pressure.
120. 130. Rotate.
And at about 145, a positive pack of movement to control column, pitching the aircraft steeply into the climb, looking for about plus 40 degrees climbing attitude, checking forward to hold the attitude. And as we get to about 1,000 feet, I'm going to roll the aircraft gently into a right-hand wing over, and that completes a standard Vulcan display takeoff.
Departure heading dart up.
These, but honoured guests at the Air Tattoo, where they're making a first-time visit. It's more than 50 years since RAF and Czech aircraft flew side by side. 2 MiG-29s from the Czech 11th Air Regiment led a group of 5 other types into Fairford in a salute to their British allies of World War II. The 11th incidentally traces its roots back to RAF Honington in 1941, where it was born as 311 Squadron. And as a reflection upon changing times, they're now reverting to the old name 311 and changing their uniforms back to Air Force Blue. The unit has a tiger as its emblem and thereby hangs the tail. Sybil Rusco's been on the trail of the big cats.
The tigers have gathered, Noel, and believe me, they're no pussycats. These tigers are here at Fairford to celebrate a very special anniversary. Find out more later on.
Well, Sybil, where there are tigers, you'll often find a hunter close behind. And today is no exception, as we take a loving look at the Hawker variety. 40 years old and still flying high.
Well, of course, we've got plenty of aerial action for you. The reason I'm laughing is that I think I know what it's like to be vulcanised. My ears went to rubber when that thing took off. We've got some F5s at the moment, and of course the Red Arrows are coming. Rob is with our 2 experts in our commentary position. We've got Paul Beaver and John Hutchinson, who are going to guide us through the action this afternoon from Fairford.
And so the International Air Tattoo 1991 opens with the RAF's parachute display team, the Falcons. This is the team's 26th season. All 12 members are physical education instructors from number 1 Parachute Training School just up the road from here at RAF Brides Norton. They're forming a 12-man canopy stack, and unique to the Falcons, you may see the split stack spiral.
You start the thing going by pulling down on the steering toggles. Those are the ropes that control the lifting.
They're very manoeuvrable canopies, these particular parachutes. The leader is Flight Lieutenant Mark Smith.
There he is, down on the first cross.
And right down into the drop zone.
As the smoke clears from the falling Falcons, the Patrie de France with their 8 Alpha jets, adding a little rouge, blanc et bleu to the Fairford sky. They're one of the many formation teams assembled for the Air Tattoo. And it's a great opportunity to see the styles of different countries, as well as a chance to compare the handling qualities of their aeroplanes. The Red Arrows, for example, avoid twinkle rolls in their display because the Hawk doesn't do them very crisply.
So, Paul Beaver, how do the Alpha Jets differ from the Red Arrows Hawks?
Well, basically, Rob, the Hawk and the Alpha Jet are of the same generation. They're about 10 years old now. But if you ask a pilot, he'd probably tell you that the Alpha is considered to be the better display aircraft rather than a trainer. In fact, it's lighter than the Hawk and probably therefore more agile.
Magnifique, that display by the Patrie de France. in their Alpha Jets. And in fact, pilots of Alpha Jets graduate to the Mirage 2000. And here is the Mirage 2000. It may look a little like its older sisters, the 3s and the 5s, but it is virtually new, with two-seat versions for both training and the delivery, if necessary, of a standoff nuclear missile.
This is a manoeuvre that caused a lot of interest in the Flying Display Committee. It's an inverted negative G push-up, a bunt, and not so far from the ground. Very unusual for a piece of heavy metal like the Mirage. It's extremely uncomfortable. All the blood's forced into the pilot's head, and it can cause a redout.
A little look inside the tower. The regular to 2 team of air traffic controllers doing a great job here this weekend.